So again, another person that I met over the years was this individual by the name of Ben Gupp. He was a professor at the University of Alabama, and we won't hold that against him, but he wrote in our Financial Practice and Education Journal. And he wrote some very practical, down-to-earth articles. And the one that really stands out for me, at the time, I was Director of Financial Planning and Analysis at Hershey. I had completed my PhD, and I was kind of, what do I want to do when I grow up? Academia, practitioner. I chose to be a practitioner for a few years, and then once I saw enough to switch to academia. But the one thing that I really adopted from Ben's article, he had a system of evaluating internal hurdle rates for capital projects. And he had a methodology. It was very systematic, very opinionated. It didn't have a lot of numbers to crunch, but it did have ways of drawing things out from people. And it was a beautiful article. We were struggling at that time with setting up hurdle rates for different kinds of projects, our different divisions. And I fell in love with this article. It was practical. I knew I could get away with using his main piece with Hershey's management team, and his main piece was a questionnaire. It was a pop quiz on these 8 dimensions. How would you say this division's riskiness is? 8, 12, whatever it was. And senior management actually let me come to one of their Monday morning meetings. I brought along my copies, and I said, got a test for you. So no right, no wrong answers, but why don't you go down, think about all of our divisions, 5 divisions, these 8 to 12 article items. I wrote nice little descriptors. How would you rate the riskiness? From a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being risky, and I gathered them all up. I put them together. I came up with averages. And yes, the CEO got an average of a weighting of 3, the chief operating officer a weighting of 2, but everybody else got a weighting of 1. And we pulled it together and looked at, this is what we're telling ourselves should be a risk premium for that division, for that level of that risky item, and we pulled it together. And I was so excited to see Ben at the next meeting, and I didn't really know him at the time, but I was waiting to go on to do a panel session, and he was standing across the door from me. And a name like Ben Gupp is 6 letters, so I could read 6 letters. It fit neatly on his name card, and I'm looking at it, and I went, "Oh, you're Ben Gupp." And he said, "Yes, I am. I have been all my life." And then I was so excited to tell him that we actually use his article at Hershey. And he shook his head and he said, "You know, I never really thought anybody would take that article serious, but you're the second person I heard say that they've actually adopted it at their company." And I was just so impressed. Again, lifelong friends with Ben, always good, always the same, and always had these little tidbits along the way. And so many people here have those little tidbits that they take as, this is just me, this is what I say, and some of them are just gems.
I love the applicability.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Applicable, great theory, and at parts we were struggling with hurdle rates and how do you get that for capital spending. There were some great articles that got into a lot of numbers, lots of great justification, and at the end of the day, the standard deviations were so large that it didn't make any sense. Pick whatever number you wanted. Ben at least had this systematic approach, not heavy quant, but systematic, that you could relate across different projects, across different divisions, and it was just great.